Number 3. Now, just to recall, the first factor was economy, interest rates. Second factor is government policies and intervention. Now here's number 3. Natural disasters. Okay? Natural disasters like what? Floods, famine, drought, typhoon. In almost 100% of the cases, if not 90%, when there is a natural disaster, the currency will fall. Common sense, because money will leave the country. Right? People are scared. Floods in Australia, earthquake in New Zealand. Remember in Christchurch, they had a massive earthquake a few years back? If you were to track back, floods in Australia, Australian dollar fell. Okay? Earthquake in New Zealand, New Zealand dollar fell. Typhoon Haiyan in Philippines, Filipino peso fell. Floods in Thailand, in the capital in Bangkok, the Thai baht fell. If you pay attention to such things, doesn't matter even if you hit 3 or 4 stop loss. Once such incident happen, you take action, you will recover back all your losses. You need to be there when these things happen. And these things will happen. They are natural disasters. It will happen, friends. Thai baht falls as floods overwhelm Thailand's capital. This is your neighbor, right? I'm sure you knew Thailand had floods, right? Yes or no? Yeah. Look, where is it? USD THB advance. Advance means it went up from 30.48 to 30.53. Why did it go up? Because the Thai baht is on the right-hand side. Be very clear. Because the Thai baht will fall, USD THB will go up, correct? You are trading currency, but be very clear, where is the currency? If it was THB USD, of course you short, you sell. But if it's USD THB, you click buy. You need to know where is the Thai baht. Number 4, international trade. These are all important concepts. And I told you it's actually fun when you know about it. Now, when it comes to international trade, pay attention to imports and exports, okay? Now, every country has imports and exports. Think about it. Cambodia. Cambodia exports garments, rice, rubber, agriculture. When the government of Cambodia exports goods, does it receive money? Yes, right? Money comes in. You export your goods, money comes into the country. Countries also import goods for things that they don't have. Japan imports about 95% of its oil. Japan doesn't have oil. Japan has fish. So you will import all your salmon, your sushi from Japan, right? Japan doesn't have oil. The world is very fair. Okay, you will have something, you won't have other things. So Japan imports a lot of oil from Canada. And Canada will export things to other countries, whatever. So when you import stuff, must you pay? Of course. You import things means you buy. Exports means you sell. Import means you buy. So every government must do a balance of trade. When you export, you sell, you make money. When you import, you pay. This is minus, this is plus. In a very simple way, most governments need to balance their budget. If you don't have a balancing budget, you will either go into surplus or deficit. All right? Now, when you export your goods, you make money. When you import goods, you pay for them. As long as the money that you make from your exports is bigger than what you pay for your imports, you will get a surplus. Everyone say surplus. Very good. Now, here's the more important part. When there is a surplus, there's a chance the currency will strengthen. Okay? So read. You have to know the countries that you are trading, whether is it US, Europe, Canada, Australia. when there is on the current account, you see, the way the government runs a country is very much like how you would run a successful business. When you run a successful business, you want to make money or lose money? Of course, make money, right? Governments also want to make money. Okay? When you make money, when there's a surplus, there's a chance the currency will strengthen. Why? Because when all the hedge funds were to open up the newspaper and it says, wow, these countries, they have a current account surplus. It's a strong country. I will put my money in there. I will invest in this country. Okay? I will either buy their bonds, I will invest in their real estate, I will invest in their property, stocks, whatever. Money flows into that country because it has a surplus. Similarly, when exports are less than imports, meaning to say the money that you make from exports, if it is less than what you make from imports, there will be a deficit. Everyone say deficit. When you have a high deficit, the currency falls. Two reasons, right? First reason, negative sentiment. All the hedge funds will look at this country, wow, you have a deficit. I don't think it's a good country for us to invest in. So money leaves your country. Money leaves the country, the currency falls. First reason. Reason number two, from the government itself. Because they have a deficit, think about it, they have to pay more for imports, right? When you are paying more for imports, your money is actually leaving your country. If Cambodia has got to pay for a lot of imports from USA, Europe, Canada, Australia, they have to sell more of their local currency to buy the imports from all other countries. So from an external perspective, money leaves the country. From an internal perspective, the government has to pay more for the imports. Money also leaves the country. Right? They have to fund the imports. These two reasons makes the currency fall. This is a simple way of looking at it. I will coach you. It's a process. Okay? This is basic to intermediate understanding. As you guys get more advanced, and I will coach some of you to be more advanced in case some of you will want to manage a multi-million-dollar fund and all that. Things will get a bit complicated because there will be some countries who have a big deficit, but the currency is still strong. One classic example. They have the world's biggest deficit. They owe, do you know how much money this country owes? Do you know how much is $1 trillion? How many zeros? 12 zeros. Now, beyond a certain amount is just a lot of money, right? Let me visually explain to you how much is $1 trillion. Okay? Today, if I were to pay you 1,000 US dollars, this is in US dollars, okay? If I were to pay you 1,000 US dollars, not every hour, not every minute, but every second. Go through your mind. If I'm going to pay you like that, okay? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. In 1 minute, how much would I have paid you? $60,000 in 1 minute. In 2 minutes, I would have paid you 120,000 US dollars. Is it a lot of money? Yes. Make a guess, how long would it take for me to pay you $1 trillion? Make a guess. In 2 minutes, I have paid you USD $120,000. You could buy a house, man. 1 trillion. Any idea? It will take you only 32 years. Paying you $1,000 every second, I will take 32 years to pay you 1 trillion. Multiply that by 15 to give you an idea how much the great United States owes money to the world. It gives you an idea how much shit the United States is in. But why in the world are they still considered the world's most powerful nation? That is an advanced topic. If I go too much into that, we won't have time to cover. But it's exciting. I have made a statement that, friends, basic level, you need to know what happens in the United States. There is a lot of sense when people say, when the United States sneezes, the world catches a cold. It's still true. Okay? They are still the world's biggest economy today. Still is. China is at a distant number 2. Japan number 3. Germany number 4. They are still far behind the US. It's still big. Okay? So you need to understand. So these are general concepts. Advanced concept, we will consider countries like the USA. In Forex, it is important to consider the USA because if you look at the 7 major pairs, when you all start trading, I want you to focus on the 7 major pairs. Do you know what are the 7? Write this down. You will be a millionaire just focusing on this 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Euro dollar, which is the most traded currency pair. Out of that 5.3 trillion US dollars, about 25% is traded on euro dollar. It is the most traded currency pair worldwide. Because this has the biggest GDP in the world, this, which is a combination of 18 countries, also has a comparable GDP to the USA. Second pair is this, about 19% of the 5.3 trillion. Largest economy in the world, third largest economy in the world. Okay? So these two, pay attention. And then these 7 is all you need. It's really all you need. What is the common factor in all of these 7? When we hold an advanced topic, I'll talk a lot about the USA. You need to know. Okay? The US dollar is used so much in international trade. This country, in fact, right, among all the 10 Southeast Asian nations, do you know what are the 10 Southeast Asian nations? Singapore, Malaysia, we are all very close friends, right? I'm from Singapore, you know, right? Yes or no? This country is the only country out of the 10 Southeast Asian nations that uses the US dollar. Do you all even know why? Do you know the history of your country? Do you know even why you are using the US dollar? 1993, UN Peacekeeping Treaty. Go and read your history. 21 years ago. They injected a lot of US dollars into the system. So from there, it was 20 over years ago. I know some of you just think, oh, we're always using US dollar. This is one of the reasons why it started. Okay? Okay, let's come back. International trade. Surplus, currency strengthens. High deficit, currency weakens. Clear? Here. British trade balance deficit drops. Pound dollar goes up. You must learn to read whatever these headlines are. The deficit drops means the deficit becomes smaller. It's a good news, right? Britain used to have a deficit, but the deficit is getting smaller and smaller. It's moving towards a surplus. Pound dollar goes up, click buy. Just by reading the news, you can even make money. Because I told you before, 80% of the world doesn't read. It's only 20% of the top traders in the world who trade for the banks, they read. If you were to just be a bit hardworking, you can do that. Being successful simply means to pay the price now, to suffer a little bit now, so that you can enjoy many years later. Does it make sense? Of course it does, right? So pay the price now. Last one, then we go for a break. Okay? Political factors. If there's war, if there's elections, when Russia invades Ukraine, right? So many of these reasons, it will affect. The world is so connected today. Whatever may happen, okay, in upcoming elections, in wars, it will affect the currency market. Egypt's pound falls to 5-year low against the US dollar. Why Egypt? Egypt was going through a very bad civil war. Same case now if you talk about Syria, but not many people trade the Syrian dollar. Okay? But it's to give you an example. If any country were to experience war or elections, okay, chances are the currency will fall. Let me give you another tip. In most countries, when there's a change in presidency, the currency tends to drop. Okay? Why? Because there is a little bit of uncertainty. Because many businesses are connected to the government. It's just the way it is, right? So the incumbent, that means the current president or the current ministry, has links with businesses. So if the government changes hands, businesses will also be in a state of confusion. They won't know what may happen. Money may be pulled out of the country. So these are all political factors. So in a general sense, when there is a change in government, right, the currency does tend to weaken. For a while at least. So that's where you can take action and sell. All these is to give you a summary of what makes the currencies move. Okay? After the break, I'll continue part 2. After lunch is where the excitement starts. I'm going to give you the exact strategies. These are strategies that I don't just teach retail traders, I told you. These are strategies that I've taught some of the biggest banks in the world. It works, right? And I told you one of my dreams. The more I teach people, hopefully one day, when we all click sell, the markets really drop. Then there is 100%, we will win 100% of the time. Did you enjoy this session? Yes. Let's give everyone a big hand.
Mr. Mrio Singh សម្រាប់បទបង្ហាញយ៉ាងអស្ចារ្យបំផុតហើយខ្ញុំសូមអញ្ជើញអាដាម